Hello, this old geek here. Now today I'm being accompanied by my latest buddy here. I don't have a name for him. Maybe somebody out there can think of a name for him. He does kind of have a familiar face. I'm not sure why. I wasn't trying to make anyone in particular. It's just a frog puppet. And in this video, I'm going to show how I made his body and the neck, of course. But the head I had made a number of years ago. It was like one of my first foam rubber and fleece puppet heads. And of course, this isn't real fleece. This is like a polyester fleece. I believe it's called Anton fleece. But as you can see, there's a seam here, which typically when you make a puppet like this, you try to eliminate this seam in the front. But what I did, I used the same pattern that on the fleece that I used for the foam. And so I just sewed it together like that and put it over the head. And that's why you see this seam here, because I didn't really, at the time, I didn't really know how else to do it. That's the only way I could think of doing it. And of course, the mouth there's cardboard underneath this, and this is just felt. The black is just felt, and the tongue is felt. And this is just, the eyes are just a ping pong ball that I cut in half, and I just used black magic marker to make the irises. And as you can see, he's not finished. He needs his arms yet, which I'm going to do in another video, because I didn't want the video to be too long, especially with me yakking. So the rest of the video is just going to be me making the body, and the neck. So I hope you enjoy this. If you do, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and have a great day. I'll see you next time. This is the pattern that I drew on a heavy sheet of paper. I just measured the top and then the bottom, and I just really just folded the paper in half, and then I just cut it into the shape that I wanted to, and then I marked the top and the bottom, as you can see here. And then I lay the pattern onto the foam that I am using. This is 1/2 inch foam. I really should have used 1 inch, but I only had 1/2 inch available. So I just cut the foam out here with the scissors. I put the two heads together by using a generous amount of contact cement on the top and around the edges. Leave the bottom open. You don't want to do the bottom because it needs to be open. And when you're using contact cement, please wear gloves and do it in a well-ventilated area. Now, after 15 minutes, I let it get nice and tacky, and then I press all the edges together. So you gotta wait at least 15 minutes. I think you can wait up to about 2 hours. It depends. Just check out the instructions on the contact cement that you get. And there we go. I'm measuring from the top of the foam about 2 or 3 inches down, and this is going to be the front. This is going to be for the neck hole, and I draw that in the front and just a little bit on the back, and then I just cut this out. It's probably about 4 inches wide. It's just wide enough to fit my hand and my arm all the way through. Now for the fleece, I used the same pattern that I used for the foam. I just laid it on top of the fleece and cut around it, and here I'm sewing it. I always sew by hand. Now when you do the pattern on the fleece, make sure the stretchy part, because there is a stretchy part, is going horizontal, going across. And after I get that all sewed, I turn it right side out and I slip it over the foam part. Now I cut a hole into the fleece on the top, and here I'm trying to glue it with tacky glue, which didn't work, so I went and switched to hot glue, and I left a little extra of the fleece on the bottom there so I could glue it to the inside. So I got that all done there. Now my hand and arm fit through just right. For the neck, I just pin a scrap piece of the Anton fleece all the way around the head, making sure that the seams come together in the back, and then I pin it vertically there in the back. And then I mark it with a marker all the way around, and then the back too down the sides there. And then when I'm done with that, I unpin it. I'm using a straight edge here, or a ruler, to mark it down the length that I want it to go all the way through the body. It's going to be a bit extra, which is fine. Then I cut it out. I try to leave the bottom a little wider. I want my hand and arm to fit all the way through. And then I just lay out the color that I want, and you see it stretching across horizontally, and I lay the scrap piece on top of the one that on top of the color that I want to use, and I mark it, and then I get it all cut out. And when I get it cut out, I mark the top, and then I sew it all together by hand, of course, like I always do. Then I turn it right side out, slip it over my puppet stand, put the head on, and then I pin it. Starting from the back, I pin it to making sure that the seams are lining up, the seam from the neck and the back of the head, and I pin it all the way around the head, and then I start sewing it, starting from the back and then going all the way around the head. Now I tuck the neck underneath the head when I do this. Typically you sew the neck to the head before you slip the fleece over the foam head, but I didn't know enough to do that, so I had to tuck the fleece under the head and then sew around. Now here I'm putting it into the body and making it fit. Fold the excess of the neck up, and then I sew that into the fleece on the body all the way around. And there you go, all done.